Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino. Day 2 of Mike's Market Overview. And no, I did not plan that ahead of time. I always called it Mike's Market Minute, but I then have to keep it to a minute. Maybe I should do a morning live stream, Mike's Market Minute, when we're going to open. Maybe that's a concept. All right. So this is the next bar. This is actually the after-hour session. I'm recording this at 5:30, roughly 5:30 Chicago time. The day closed just above the rotation zone on the daily. Running up did not quite hit the path trading trend line. 44.2150 was the key level. We're not over bought yet. So there is still room to run to the upside. Again, my first target for tomorrow on a bullish move, our first target will be roughly about today's high, 44.2150. The declining trend line now is coming in right about that same level. So that's my key resistance. So anybody who's watching this, any kind of trend line, there's a bunch of people, this is a pretty common one that would be drawn. Anybody who's watching that, that's the first key resistance. Above there, remember, we don't have a lot of stopping points. So once we got this key close into these two candles, there aren't a lot of stopping points. So above there, my next thing is the harmonic projection. That harmonic projection comes from October 1st lows. And at this point, I'm just keying off of today's highs. Why am I doing that? Because we have a pausing bar on the 4 hour. So it's not just, we don't have a pausing bar on the high yet, but we do have a pausing bar on the 4 hour. So I am using that as my projection level with this run up, since we did have a nice pullback on the 4 hour chart. And with that harmonic, that also hits the 62.5% retracement harmonic. So 441 area, 441, 441.75 is my next major key resistance. If we poke above that, 445 is my next minor level, then 462 is the next major level. Let's go down to that shorter term charts, which I didn't really do yesterday. I'm going to do that a little more. I had to set the foundation yesterday. Let me know again what you think of this segment in the comments. First area, let me just take a quick peek at the 1 hour. So right now we roughly finished the end of today and trading after hours right at the near the bottom of the 1 hour rotation zone. So any move below about 43.87, I'll start watching for a slightly bigger pullback. This is either in the overnight or tomorrow morning. Generally, if we're going to get the pullback, I'm going to watch for it in the next little bit. 43.80 to or 43.77 is my major support zone. 43.77 being very key because there's substantial resistance there, which will now turn into support. If we had increased selling pressure and we did drop below that, my next major support buy area for looking for key reversal patterns would be 43.55. And on disastrous news, very bearish day, my next key support is 43.17. But 43.55 is a pretty substantial line in the sand on a bigger pullback, because if we break down below that, we're back below a key rotation zone and very key resistance becoming support, and that will trap a lot of the bulls. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, what I'm watching for. Any real move though, again, let me go back to shorter term charts. If we start getting really above about 43.96, and then if we get a close 43.96, I'll start paying really close attention to the bullish move. Close above 4,400, I'm starting to shift into bullish mode again. Let's take a look over at the Nasdaq futures. These are the mini futures. One thing I forgot to point out yesterday, this was a valid double bottom pattern which was triggered yesterday. I did not put that on here. I have the conservative targets on here, 14,921. I'm sorry, I did not put those on there. And then we had 1504, and I had that 14,992 to 15,004. Next target area, then 15,087 is the final target. Key areas I'm really paying attention to now on the Nasdaq. You can see right here we have this little prior resistance ledge. We actually closed on it back on the 6th. A doji on it. Now that's become support with the rising rotation zone 14,849.75. So 14,850. 14,850 if 14,850. If we get a move below that, my next key support still from yesterday, 14,769 with the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone. Do not want to see a close below that, especially on a 4-hour basis, because then we've got back into a really substantial clear path move and below some key support. And then I'm looking pretty much for a pullback to 14,582 to the upside. Just checking these shorter term charts, is right at, you see here, prior resistance becoming support. Bottom of the 1-hour rotation zone, although it is flat, so very, very minor support coming in right here at 14,885. We start getting back above 14,939. Shifting back into more bullish mode, watching for a retest of the highs and this double target and significant level target of 15,000 to 15,004, and then above there I'm targeting 15,087. So that's it. Let's take a look at that longer term chart. Above 15,087, you see we also bumped off today against the daily rotation zone and that significant level. So that 14,992 is very key on a closing basis. Right above there is the 50 exponential, but that's minor at this point because it's flattening out. So my key areas, especially close above 15,000, that takes me back into more bullish mode to then target the upper end of this declining trend line, which is 15,195. And when we are into a clear path also, and the target for that is 15,315. Finally, let's wrap it up with the Dow Mini Futures, closing pretty much at the declining trend line. We'll have to see if we do get a redraw tomorrow. We need a bar that does not touch today's high. If you want to know how to draw the trend lines, video links in the description below. And again, they are on YouTube for free, exactly how we draw our trend lines. Let's take a look at those shorter term charts. Key little area for me I'm still paying attention to. I'm just going to bump this up slightly. This is going to right around 34,767. So I need to move above 34,767. Then I'll target the high from September 27th, which is coming in at 34,934. Above there, 35,128 and 35,322 are the key levels. Let's see where we're sitting with support right now. We got some very minor support ranging from about 34,578 to about 34,596. That's very, very minor support. More substantial support on a closing basis, I'm watching 34,538, but on a dip basis, I'm keying off of 34,464. Those are my two levels, and below that, that's where we get into a little sloppy mess. It's where it's getting a little challenging. I'm going back to about 34,325 area. That's this little resistance shelf becoming support and the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone. Dropping below there, minor 34,175, major 33,800 should we get some disaster downside move. To the upside again, 34,934. We didn't quite hit it today. That's a bullish target, especially if we get some real strength above 34,767. Then I'm keying off of 35,128 and 35,322. There is a fair amount of prior resistance levels in here, so that's why I'm keeping these tighter targets on any rally, and will be using intraday projections as I go over, especially in other videos. That's a little too low a time frame for this kind of segment, but there is selling pressure still above this 34,767. So again, I'd be watching for at least what I'm watching for to confirm that as now a support point is a close above it, then a retest and a rotation up. Talked about this in my other videos. I need a close above it, a pullback to that level, then a strong rotation back up. That confirms that level of support. Until then, it is substantial resistance. Again, new segment. Let me know more thoughts, what you think. Too long, too short, or what you want me to go more in depth on, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.